It's your girls. We're back in true Dream Do Done fashion. One-ish.
One-ish.
On Monday afternoon. We are blessed to be able to greet you on the first Monday of 2021, the first episode of season 3. Let's hear it. Three amigas and Jays, season 3. We are here. We are moving forward with getting it done. Right? So much has happened in the last 2 years, the 2 seasons that we've had, and you've watched some new things be birthed. You've watched us go through challenging and traumatic times during 2020, and we made it to this far. And some people, unfortunately, did not, right? You know, it's a difficult time already, day 1 of 2021, but the good news is we are here today. We are here to celebrate the fact that because of collaboration, because of sisterhood, because of our intention on adding value to the planet, this podcast continues to bring to all of you information, resources, and accountability for your process to progress. So welcome back to the new year. I'm going to turn it over to my co-host so they can greet you. And hey, Patricia, thank you for joining in. Happy New Year to you. And I owe you a thank you. I haven't gone through and followed up, but you sent the sweetest Christmas card, and I really appreciate that, and I'm blessed to have you in the community. So, over to the pulpit chick. Give us a word.
Hey, well, first of all, Happy New Year. And I love what Patricia, she must have been on our call this morning. She says, hello, amigas. Like, you channeled all type of energy this morning. So anyways, hello. Happy New Year. We are so blessed to be alive, blessed to still be here today. And so how exciting it is that I remember the phone calls with Tamara and Stacy trying to get this thing off the ground. Tamara, I would say that you did it. You made us do it. Year 3, unbelievable. Year 3 that we're still here, one-ish, unapologetically. You would think that we would have tried to shoot for one. No, we stuck with the one. But good to be here. Happy New Year to everyone.
And over to the how-to coach. One-ish is relative. We have our pre-show time. We might let you be privy to that in the future. I don't know, because that's really hilarious. If you think we're a trip on air, child, behind the scenes. But how-to coach, Tamara Hartley.
Happy New Year, everyone. Absolutely. It is really a pleasure to be here. It's exciting. I'm excited about 2021. I'm excited about year 3 of Dream Do Done. I said, I always look back and say, wow, we have 100 shows. Wow. But that is really just a testament of what we talk about on this show. You get started and you look back, and now we have a track record and already on the year 3. So happy New Year. Happy to be here.
Awesome. One-ish works for me.
Don't come on time.
Look, but here's the thing. We can commit to one-ish. That one might throw us something.
And it gives us the flexibility to be business owners, to be mothers, to be wives, right? So one-ish, that's our thing. And, I'm just excited about it. And as we start off this year, we are going to be huddling on some of the new things we want to add to the show, to the content, and start featuring some more guests. We had our first guest last season. We had Steven Jackson, and you all were able to just hear some of what he's been able to be inspired by and actually do as a result of listening and participating in Dream Do Done. So who knows, an audience member just like you might be called to our Dream Do Done hot seat so that you can share with us what you're actually implementing. Because complimenting us, it's nice, but that doesn't pay the bills, right? We want to see the action. We want to see the result. What is it that you're getting out of the time that we spend on this broadcast every single week? So we thank you for showing up, and not only showing up, being willing to participate in how we can grow our community, how you can be supported by our masterclass by purchasing one of our journals so that you can do the work. And we're going to actually highlight some of the lessons that we have in the journal. You can study along with us if you've purchased it. So make sure you go to dreamdodone.com.
Absolutely.
So today's show, we want to celebrate starting off the year with messages of motivation. For those of you who saw our dear sister and co-host Tamara Hartley hosted an amazing event yesterday. And I'm actually, while she talks about it, let me see if I can pull up some of the images that she shared from that event with a lineup like none other. I was honored to be a part of it and just to support the fact that we need to get the right messages, the right amount of volume out here in the world, because there's a lot of cray cray, and we want to offset that with quality information, content, programs, products, and services that are helping people to live a better life. So both Serena and I were applauding her in the background. I'm going to give her some more round of applause right now. For doing such a phenomenal job. But I want you, she said, my journal's on its way. All right, that's what I'm talking about, Patricia. Look, Patricia's angling for that next guest. She might be that second guest on season 3. That's what I'm talking. Go to the head of the class, baby. I'm all here for it. So I am looking forward to seeing what your feedback is once you receive your journal, Patricia. Thank you so much. But Tamara, over to you on your mission, vision, goal in pulling together your event, messages of motivation.
So, and thank you so much for being a part of it, both of you. You don't know what it means to me, even though I talk to you all often, having you in this other forum, it just really meant a lot to me. So thank you both for that. So when I thought about it, I wanted to do it at the first of the year. Just real quick, Stacey, can you use that just real quick?
Okay.
Thank you. So one of the things that I really wanted to do in 2021 was to kick off the year with some message and motivation, because a lot of times we have New Year's resolutions. Sometimes we're down on ourselves in the new year because we didn't get everything done we wanted to get last year. And I said, I really just started thinking about the amazing friends that I have, and some people who have unique stories, and just stories that, you know, someone needs to hear, because if they can overcome that to accomplish goals and dreams, someone else could too. And so I just thought about people sharing their story, sharing those things that seem unbelievable, sharing those things that, you know what, I've overcome these obstacles, so that it can inspire you to just accomplish more and do more in 2021. So, I mean, the list was long, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to start off with this many people. And I said, I can do this over and over again. This time permits, because we need motivation and encouragement, but we need it in a different way. It's not always rah, 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 just to get you pumped up. And then a couple hours later, you back down and don't know what to do. And so I wanted to bring it in a way that will pump you up, rah, 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 but also give you some actionable things you can do, or some people you can look to who've been where you are, for some inspiration. And the more I think about it, the more we share our personal stories with people, how we overcome. There are people taking themselves out this world because they think they're the only ones that have come through something. And so I just wanted to share a variety of those kind of stories and inspire people that way through some real stories. You know, you look at Stacey, you look at Serena, sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, you did it because this, or Stacey, you have this gift and you can do this. But I wanted those stories to share that we all are very similar. We have similar experiences, and then we elevate to who we're supposed to be and to our purpose. So that's really the motivation behind it. It turned out greater than I thought it could be, because everyone participated. The comments and feedback that I received, I am very thankful for all those that hung out, because I could do this stuff all day. So I was trying to keep it short, and it was already 4 hours. But people stay the entire time because they heard something from every single person. You know, you may not have the exact same experience. And I tell people all the time, you know, I share the experience that, you know, I had my first child when I was 16 years old. I went to Howard University. I took my child with me. So I share those stories. And you might not have had a baby early in life, a teen pregnancy. Maybe you didn't have that, but you've had something in your life that changed the course of your life, right? And so that's why I wanted people to hear those stories. It may not be the exact same thing, but you can understand the concept and understand that, wow, if this person can overcome these odds, I can overcome what's going on in my life. So really, I think we all need to share more. And some people don't think their story is worth sharing. some people don't think they have anything to share with others, and that is really not true. And that's what I was trying to prove yesterday. The different stories that we heard. Your Stacy, she actually talked about how she went through the process of getting her book done and how she walked on faith. And sometimes you hear people tell you, "Oh, girl, just have faith." No, Stacy illustrated yesterday what faith meant. And so if you were to even go back and listen to the broadcast and listen to what people talked about, Serena talked about positive words only. We've shared her book on this show many times, but she really went into depth about one of the things that struck me that she said was, it's difficult sometimes to be transparent because of your plight in life. You know, being the daughter of a motivational speaker, how do you tell people you've dealt with depression or you dealt with not really walking in that purpose? And so all of those stories really, I think, it just rang with people. It just, you know, it resonated with them because they could see themselves in all of those. So again, I appreciate everyone's commitment and everyone sticking out for those 3 to 4 hours that they were on. Even after they were done with their segments, they were still on. And that was, you know, surprising because everyone's busy. It was a Sunday. I was trying to do like a little brunch type thing, but everyone hung out. And so I appreciate it. And I definitely want to do that again and just share more stories, anything that can inspire you all to do more in 2021.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've just been showing some of the people that you highlighted in this event. And what you said is so important. A lot of times we are on some misguided notion that we're the only ones that's gone through a challenge or a situation. There is nothing new under the sun, right? We all have a story. We all have something that we have gone through, and we're able to share and talk about it. You know, Dr. Womack, our frat brother, he talked about I'm responsible for. And, you know, this was key too, just taking some responsibility for how we show up. The work that we're doing, the things that we say that we want, how diligently are we moving along the process so that we can get to that result? And, you know, it's easy, trust and believe. Let me raise my hand, right? This COVID-19 nightmare of not being able to be with people the way you like to be with people, family, being around for the holidays, when people have transitioned, we can't even grieve the way that we normally would. That's difficult, right? So you have to acknowledge those things, but then you also have to acknowledge the fact that you can't control other things. So what can you control? What can you take responsibility for? How can you show up, you know, in the world differently? And, you know, this really touched my heart when the amazing T Street was talking about, you know, her relationship with her son and how that builds this whole dynamic of her being able to share those letters and what it meant to have that dialogue and communication. Who knows what mother needed to hear that in that moment? You know, just being live for the session, somebody could have had a breakthrough, think differently about how they communicate, you know, with their children. Mine, I think they're tired of me communicating because, you know, I call a meeting in a minute. I'm like, it's time for family meeting. But it has helped them be able to communicate. And while they might think their mama's 2 parts crazy, they can never say that their father and I didn't create space for us to have dialogue and conversation. Whether we agree or disagree, that's irrelevant. The point is that we can discuss. And that, it just really touched my heart. And I was just thinking about how I can help her amplify that message, you know, in the marketplace. And, you know, I'll let Serena jump in and talk a little bit about her takeaways, and, you know, we'll go through 1 or 2 and you give yours, sis, because it was a powerful day.
Indeed. I'm sorry, I had to press unmute. One of the things that I loved about, and I think you summed up everyone perfectly. One of the things I love about Toni that we see here on the screen, I've always been a fan of her voice. And so she sings a song called A Wonderful Change Has Taken Over Me. She shared her story about disruption. And usually we look at disruption as being an inconvenience. However, her take on disruption is that actually disruption pushes you closer to your destiny. And so she broke that thing all the way down. And then I thought again, how ironic it is that years ago, she always, every year at this Easter play, would sing A Wonderful Change. So Toni, if you're listening, baby, we're going to have to get you to sing A Wonderful Change after you take us through disruption, your presentation on disruption. It was absolutely amazing. I was so filled with joy, and I love the spin. And as you can imagine, the take on the word disruption, because a disruption is usually awful, like you're disturbing me. This is a disruption. But she talked about her life's disruptions, and all of us are at that place now where we're either hanging on to our parents by faith, or they're going through transitions, be it a health concern or Alzheimer's or whatever is going on. And so she was transparent and sharing. As a my mother's side, I am my only child. She shared, hey, listen, my mother has some challenges. I had to step in. But then she was also still courageous enough to create space. On top of being a caregiver for her mother, she experienced a house fire and said she had not slept in her bed. Tamara, I can't even remember, but the idea of not sleeping in your bed for any amount of time seems to be a major disruption. However, she talked about her disruption pushing her closer to her destiny. So come on, Tony, baby.
Absolutely.
That was absolutely everything. And not to mention T Street, which you had up previously. She has always been a dynamic speaker. My children came home talking about the amazing T Street. What I loved about her presentation is that I'm not at a place now that my children have disappointed me, but I can appreciate what she did. I raised a cousin, and my cousin, I mean, she's done okay. She hasn't done what I would have wanted her to do, but who am I to try to control her life? But I love when she said that the Lord told her she could not get a breakthrough until she let up on her prayers, that her prayers were out of anger and out of frustration. And to be so transparent to say that I prayed for something out of anger, I think all of us have. Like I know the Bible says to pray out of obedience, but there have been times, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I prayed out of obedience, but my heart was not right. My mind, my mouth said something else, but my heart was in a completely different space. And so I appreciate that, because that takes some boldness to say, yeah, I prayed for my kid, but I really wasn't feeling it, So I appreciate what that meant to her, what it meant to me. And now I look at my cousin in a set of different eyes, that I need to probably reach out to her. Listen to me say probably. I'm going to reach out to her in a space of love, just to let her know how much I love her, how proud I am of her with her right where she is. And so, Tamara, you did a fantastic job. I was joking with the ladies earlier. I said, don't introduce me the regular way. Just tell people I'm friends of Stacy and Tamara. That's all I need. Those are the doors that will open for me. If I just say I'm cool with Stacy, then come on in. Come on
in. You all are hilarious. But yeah, what you said, I mean, that was some powerful the testimonies both ways, to just tell the truth, right? And be able to set somebody free. Because my pastor used to always say something, individuals would be a little timid and shy during testimony time, right? Public speaking can really be learned in the church if you learn how to testify, right? If you go to a black church and you know how to testify, standing up in front of everybody to give honor to God, to give honor to the pastor, and then to share your testimony, it's not easy for certain people. And I never realized how difficult it was for folks to just testify. I've been running my mouth since I could talk. So I didn't understand why someone would be intimidated by that. But in that intimidation, my pastor noticed that some folks would shy away from sharing their truth because of embarrassment, because of not wanting folks to know what you're going through. And she said, look, when you're testifying, that testimony is going up to God, right? It's going up and sharing your belief in what he will take you through, what he's taking you through, what he's teaching you in the moment. So don't worry about somebody else getting in your business, because they have their own cross to carry. So if they want to carry their burden plus your burden, let them run with it. But you're free once you share it. And I think that's what we witnessed yesterday as we heard the various stories and testimonies being shared. They're not bound by any shame. They're not bound by any limitation in what they're saying. They're free. And because they're now free to share it, it will help somebody else who's going through something similar be able to say, I don't have to hide in shame. I don't have to feel some kind of way. Everybody is going through something. Everyone has experienced something. It's not going to be the same for each person, but there's power in being able to share that truth and to share your testimony. So that was one of the many things that came out of yesterday's message of motivation. Like, girl,
Well,
Tamara.
listen, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tara, because I'm all like, I had to be excited, but I'm still talking about it. But I'll digress.
And for me, I think I have relationship with everyone that was a part of yesterday. So these are people that I talk to often. We share these stories. We talk. You hear us talk all the times about our dream do done before the show. Just being able to have these people. That's why, and I put it out there and market it as a few of my good friends, because I know these stories. I live these stories with them. And I knew that by them sharing these stories with others, that it would make an impact. And that's really what I wanted to do, and how that group all came together. You saw a slide for Dr. Carter Womack. Now, this is someone who was the national president of Sigma. Like, he's done some amazing things in the corporate world. But did you know that he was young enough old enough that he had picked cotton? Sometimes we feel so far removed. He's the youngest of 10 children. He didn't have shoes. Like, how you start is not always how you have to end. And one of the reasons I wanted to share that story is because we look at successful people all of the time. And, for years, that's what I did. I traveled the country highlighting success, celebrating success. And we see the end result, but we don't see those humble beginnings, and we don't see where people started from. He used to pick cotton. Now, let that sink in, because sometimes we think that's so far removed. If I was to tell my kids anything about cotton, they're like, Mom, that was in like the 1900s, But we look at that and we feel so far removed. But we have someone here that is an example of that life and has come through that, has graduated from college. He's Dr. Carter D. Womack now. And I like to know what motivated that person and brought them through that, because you may not have picked cotton, you may not have been in that scenario, but look at where he brought himself from and what brought him through. So those are kind of stories that I would like to share. And I know you also had a slide up there with Tykia Wright. And Tykia Wright is very popular throughout the country because people know her. She's in a wheelchair. And let me get it so I can actually say what she has, because I always like to get it right. So I'm not sure how many of you are even familiar with the Charcot-Marie-Tooth condition, but that's what she has. But it has not stopped her for anything. She was a cheerleader, and she was on the cheerleading team. She did things that people told her she could not do. She owned her own company for 15 years. And she is an advocate for people who have disabilities, not only just disabilities, but people who just aren't able to have the opportunities they want for whatever reason, whether it's a physical or mental disability. She's been an advocate for that. So I wanted her to share her story, because when you look at someone in a wheelchair, sometimes you just feel sorry for them and you want to help them. And that's how I was when I first met her, until I met her. Like, she is a boss, and she doesn't need any of our help in that way. She drives, she goes anywhere she wants to. You can run to her at Nordstrom. Like, literally, her life is different, but it has not stopped. Those things she dreamed about when she was a little girl, she did not let her condition keep her from doing that. So those are the stories I want to share, because sometimes we let the things that affected us or how we grew up, where we grew up, stop us from being who we are, that purpose that we know we're supposed to fulfill. And so I'm just blessed that I know all of these people personally, that these are my friends and people that I get to share with often. And I really just wanted to share them with everyone else.
Absolutely. And I want to just push the pause button right here on this here testimony, Miss Tykia Wright, for all the people who got excuses on top of excuses on top of excuses. I am so grateful that she has used her voice and created a platform for those who are differently abled, right? They're just differently able. I don't call it disabled. Right. They're differently able. And because of that, their other gifts and talents are heightened. Like, God doesn't cheat anybody. It just shows up differently. And she has embraced what that means for her life. It hasn't stopped her from living. She's not sulking in a corner. Woe is me. Why me? They can do that. I can't do this. She's grateful for what she can do, and she's maximizing everything that she does. That's a lesson. We talk about Dream Do Done. We're here to spark a fire in you. We want to be in your mind in the middle of the night. You jump up like, oh, I'm hearing the music. It's the three amigas. Like, they're back again, talking about what have you set, what benchmarks are there, what goals, how are you developing your progress? Because none of us are guaranteed to live tomorrow. Every day is a gift. And what are we doing with the present? Right? What are we doing? How are we making things move according to the speed of purpose that's already predestined for our lives? We don't know what the rest of 2021 has to offer. I keep looking at everybody, girl, 2020 is going by 2020, you know, all these me. I'm like, hold your mule, because we don't know what 2021 has in store for us. So every day, let's be intentional on how we show up. And that's why we wanted to dedicate the show today to the message of motivation. This was a incredible event that our sister pulled together, and we didn't have to be a part of it. She blessed us to be a part of it, right? She didn't have to. She's like, okay, girls, we got Dream Do Done. That doesn't mean that you're over here. And we've been all right with it, right? Because this is her platform, but she included us in being a part of sharing the message of motivation, right? Of sharing hope, of sharing opportunities for somebody to see themselves in any one of the people that you featured on the event yesterday. And I keep the slides up so folks can see who they are. And I love the title of Dr. Jones' book. It all begins with you. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, we can't blame people and circumstances for the things that we go through forever. At some point, we have to take responsibility on how we react. Absolutely. We can't control the things that have happened to us or the people who have done it to us, but we can control our reaction. And in this process of dreaming, I hope some folks started dreaming again as a result of tuning in yesterday. I hope they went and revisited an old dusty journal that they might have written down one or two notes, one or two desires of things that they want to do. And I pray that as they listen to us today, that they start doing something, making a commitment to not just let the month of January come in all haphazardly, but thinking about intentionally what can you do so that as you move through our journal, you're seeing for yourself the progress that you're making. You're seeing for yourself the way we laid out the Dream Do Done journal. It's a chance and a space and an opportunity for you now to take responsibility for what's next in your life. So I'm just excited about what's next, and welcome to everyone who is joining the broadcast right now. For those who haven't seen the journal that I'm talking about, I'm going to just bring that up for you so that you can grab your copy, like Patricia and who else? Got Steven and a couple of other people have already purchased theirs. But it really was an intentional project to help you track what you're doing. And if you are bold enough to join our masterclass, you see, there we are, you'll be able to get additional support. Because one thing I know, investments that I've made on getting coaching and support have been the best investments, because I can learn things that I might not know, or there might be a blind spot and there's something that I can't see. But those who I invest in working with can see it and say, girl, no, you're missing that. What about this? You need the help of other people, and you need multiple people. There's no one magic bullet, right? That you're going to make one investment to work with one person and all of your dreams come true. That's not reality, boo. You need to figure out what you need for the season that you're in, and understanding who can support you best with what it is that you desire. So, Happy New Year, Nana. I see a couple of folks coming on in. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining in on the show. Serena, I'm going to turn it over to you to any last thoughts that you want to say, because can you believe we are almost at the end of our one-ish for today, and it has been a joy having this conversation. But I know the pulpit chick might have another word that she wants to impart.
No other word, or I'm gonna go all the way in. So let's not do that. But I do want to say that both of you all have done something amazing over the past 30 days. Stacey, you closed us out with your Faithpreneur event, that even though it was online, every day you had a brand new person, a brand new subject, things to help activate your faith and activate your dreams. And then Tamara, you started us off with a dynamic event. And so I again, I'm so grateful to be around two sisters that do nothing but stir up the gift. I mean, you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and I am so grateful to call you my friends, my sisters, my coaches, all that good stuff. And so if nothing else that I took away from both of your events, but especially the one yesterday, since that was so fresh, is to be bold. I mean, Tamara, if you remember, we said, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Like, this is the first Sunday of the year. You say, "Yes, I'm doing it." And everything fell together in spite of what was going on. Some people had an echo. Some people, we couldn't hear the microphones at all. But it all worked out. And I mean, regardless of what was happening, there was a spirit of boldness about you. And it worked out. The same spirit of boldness that was over Takia Wright as she talked about being a cheerleader. And she told the school system, y'all figure it out, but this is what I'm doing. I mean, that type of boldness. So as we leave 2020, which we could all say was a disastrous year, the truth of the matter is I think we've all learned so much and we're stronger. We have more resiliency and all of that good stuff. But as we move into 2021, I am going to try to adopt some boldness about myself, boldness about my dreams, boldness about my purpose, boldness about me actually doing it and getting it done. So have a wonderful Monday. And ladies, as always, I appreciate you and Happy New Year to you both.
Again, so which direction should I pass the plate? To the left, to the right? But that's what we're talking about with the pulpit chick. And I will say too, you know, a lot of times you see people briefly and you only know a little bit about them. I learned some things about my sisters even yesterday, and we always learn more about each other as we just continue. We're like onions as you keep, you know, peeling back the layers on the onion. And that's what that's really about. You see the end result, but you don't know what went into it. So the more I think we share those kind of stories, the more transparent we are on this show. And if you've been watching for the last 2 years, you know, we're very transparent. Some might say too transparent, but I don't believe in such a thing, because the things that we share, we're intentional. We're sharing because it's universal. Some experiences are universal. And we want you to know, even we've had those experiences. So I am just excited about what 2021 is bringing. I'm ready. I'm going to continue to put things before you, bring you people, share stories, and definitely be a part of Dream Do Done, because this thing is really real for us. And you can see we can go on and on and on, because the action is not just something we pretend to do. It's something that it's who we are. And that's what we bring to you every single Monday when we do this accountability show. So thanks for tuning in today, and love you and happy Monday. Hope you have a great week.
Thank you, Tamara. I'll give you both a round of applause.
And I love getting my round of applause from our simple producer.
You have to pray for me. God, not finished yet. But I love what I do. I've made a decision in the last 72 hours. I said, Lord, in this year, I'm not dealing with unnecessary stress, trying to convince people what they need to do, and, you know, all this. This year, it's intentional. Either you with me or you're not. And it's all right if I have to love you from a distance. So I'm just wounding you from now, because y'all know my rants. So I'm just hoping I don't have to burst into one anytime soon. But we thank you all for being here. Rashonda, thank you. Celia said, hold on. Did I miss a notification? Well, Celia, the good news is you can watch it on Tamara's page. If you go to her page, you can see the replay of the event yesterday. Ludrine, my sister, darling, good to see you. Mecca, love you. I tell you, Patricia. So everyone, if we didn't call your name and didn't catch you live, we'll go back in and catch you in the chat. And Tamara's going to share one more thing before we close out. But I just want to thank you all for really being here. It means a lot to us. Time is precious. Time is money. We don't just show up in one-ish because we have nothing else to do. We show up because we want to see a community of people win with us. So thank you for being here. And go ahead, my sister.
So I just actually saw a name pop up. It was Brashandra. She is actually here in Columbus, Ohio. And yesterday was the first time she was exposed to my sisters. And when I tell you, she was just like on fire. And she showed up today. So today is her first time tuning into Dream Do Done. So welcome, my sister. We love you. We're glad that you tuned in. But this is what happens when I expose people to the beautiful people in my life. She fell in love with both of you and your story. So she's here.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Make sure you come to the Good Kitchen 614, sis. I mean, I don't see you up in there.
Wait, I look, and I shot you out right after you got off. I thought about that. Like, hey, now, I said everything in the Good Kitchen is good.
But I understand everybody cutting back for the new year, but don't be cutting.
I wish I lived close enough to get me a good dinner tonight. But yes, please go and support it. Thank you for coming on, and we hope that you come back again. Share the broadcast. Let folks know we're really working on what's next for this season 3, and we want it to be impactful. And we wanted to drive home our point of there's a process to progress. And as we're making sure that we're profitable in the marketplace, we want you to do the same thing. At the end of the day, compliments don't pay bills, honey. So we got to make sure that there's some greenbacks rolling through. All right, I'm going to behave. I promise. I think somebody daddy has worn on me a little bit, maybe a little cray-cray. But all right, family, we'll see you next week. Same place, same time.